Days of Our Lives. Down unmasks a terrifying secret. Could Rachel be the one who pulled the trigger? Salem has witnessed its fair share of tragedies and shockers over the years, but nothing could have prepared fans for what's unfolding this week. As the town gears up for what should have been an innocent birthday celebration, a whirlwind of emotion, fear, and devastating truth is about to turn the world upside down, especially for a little girl named Rachel. From cake to chaos. A party gone horribly wrong. May 14th was meant to be a day of joy. Brady and Kristen planned a sweet, quiet birthday party for their daughter Rachel. Balloons, cake, gifts. The kind of innocent gathering meant to create memories of laughter and love. But what unfolded was something no one expected. Instead of smiles, the room fell into stunned silence as Rachel collapsed into her mother's arms, sobbing uncontrollably. Her tiny frame shook with anguish, and Brady stood nearby, paralyzed with helplessness. No one understood what had triggered such a breakdown, but for those who've been paying attention to the signs, it was more than a tantrum. It was a cry for help, and perhaps a confession? Unraveling the clues. Is this the break in the shooting case? It's impossible to forget what happened in April. EJ was shot, and the identity of the shooter has remained one of the most haunting mysteries in Salem. Theories spread like wildfire, pointing fingers at the usual suspects, bitter rivals, vengeful exes, or shady associates. But what if the truth is far more terrifying? What if the person who pulled the trigger wasn't a hardened criminal, but a child? That's right. Rachel's emotional collapse at her birthday party might be more than a breakdown. It might be a breakthrough. A clue. A window into a truth no one ever imagined. Let's not forget Rachel has been struggling. She's withdrawn, moody, and silent during her therapy sessions. Her teachers report a noticeable change in her behavior. These are often signs of inner turmoil, of a heavy burden on a fragile conscience. Motive and memory, the pieces come together. Could Rachel have had a reason to hurt EJ? As shocking as it sounds, it's not impossible. EJ's actions against Rachel's grandmother left deep scars. Children often interpret pain and justice in ways adults don't fully understand. In Rachel's eyes, what happened to her family may have justified an unspeakable act. And let's not forget Salem's history. This wouldn't be the first time a child shot EJ. Longtime viewers may recall when young Will Horton once pulled the trigger. History repeating itself? Sammy and Kristen both raising children capable of such violence? That's daytime drama gold and heartbreakingly believable. The Child Protective Service's nightmare. As if the situation isn't harrowing enough, Brady and Kristen are already walking a tightrope with Child Protective Services watching their every move. One wrong step, one mishandled moment, and they could lose Rachel forever. Now imagine the horror of discovering your daughter may be the one responsible for an attempted murder. There's no parenting handbook for this. Kristen, true to her nature, might downplay everything, trying to manipulate the truth behind closed doors. But Brady, ever the devoted father, will be shattered. Rumors behind the scenes hint at a gut-wrenching performance from the actor as the full weight of the possible truth hits him like a ton of bricks. A twist within a twist? Of course, there's another possibility. Rachel isn't the shooter. What if she knows who it is and is trying to protect them? What if her silence is an act of loyalty, not guilt? Could she be covering for someone close to her? Someone she loves? The recent recasting of Rachel with a new young actress suddenly makes sense. This storyline is intense, demanding emotional depth and layered performance beyond the scope of typical child roles. The stakes are too high, the emotions too raw. This is a plot that demands brilliance and secrets. And no turning back from this point forward. Every episode of Days of Our Lives will carry the weight of this unraveling mystery. A single phrase, a dream sequence, or even a slip of the tongue could crack the case wide open. Rachel may not be the one who fired the gun, but she may be the only one who knows the truth. If EJ regains more memories and recalls the face of his assailant, will he seek justice against a child? And if Rachel is guilty, how will Brady and Kristen choose to handle it? Will they cover it up or face the music? And how will Salem react when the truth is finally exposed? This story has the power to break families, destroy alliances, and change Salem forever. Final thoughts. I've covered Salem's drama for decades, and I can say with certainty that I haven't been this shaken since last month's bombshell involving Chad and Abigail. But this is something else entirely. This is deeper. more tragic, and far more dangerous. Could Rachel really be the shooter? Or is she just a pawn in someone else's twisted game? There's only one way to find out, and that's to stay glued to your screen next week. Get your popcorn ready, because when the truth surfaces, it'll be an explosion unlike anything we've seen. And you reading this, what do you believe? Could sweet little Rachel really have done the unthinkable? Or is there a darker hand behind the curtain, using a child as the perfect cover? Share your wildest theories in the comments and prepare yourself, because Salem is about to be shaken to its core. Days of our lives. What happens if Rachel shot EJ? The price of a child's crime, a family's plea, and an uncle's wrath if the truth finally comes out that Rachel was the one who pulled the trigger and shot EJ. Then Salem will be forced to face one of the most harrowing questions in its long, tangled history. What punishment fits a crime committed by a child against her own family? The emotional fallout would be seismic. The legal implications? Even more terrifying. But the human cost? That would shatter every single heart involved. Let's walk through what might happen, step by painful step. The unthinkable truth comes to light. Imagine it. EJ, recovering from the attack, finally regains a clear memory. He sees her face. Not a stranger. Not a hired gun. But Rachel. His own niece. A child. The daughter of Brady and Kristen. The child he once gave Christmas presents to. The little girl he held in his arms when she was born. And now she's the one who shot him. How does a man process that? Does he explode in fury? Does he fall to his knees in disbelief? Or worse, does he say nothing and let it tear him apart from the inside? The law versus the heart. What punishment awaits a child shooter? If Rachel is revealed as the shooter, Salem's legal system will be forced to make a decision no court wants to face. She's a child, possibly no older than 10 or 11. But she has committed a violent act, one that nearly ended a man's life. In most jurisdictions, a child of Rachel's age would not be tried as an adult, but that doesn't mean she walks away. She could be sent to a juvenile detention facility, ordered into psychiatric care, removed from her home, forced into therapy under the supervision of the state. Even worse, Child Protective Services would likely move swiftly. Brady and Kristen could be deemed unfit to raise her. They could lose custody permanently. Rachel could become a ward of the state, separated from her family during the most vulnerable moment of her life. Can you imagine it? A little girl in a courtroom surrounded by strangers being asked to explain why she pulled the trigger. It's horrifying, but it's possible. The parents' plea, will Kristen and Brady beg for mercy? When the storm hits, Kristen and Brady will be standing at the eye of it. For once, they may be on the same side, desperate, terrified, and willing to do anything to protect their daughter. Would Kristen fall to her knees in front of EJ and beg? Would Brady try to reason with him, reminding him of their family ties, of the child's mental state, of her innocence despite what she's done? Would they offer everything they have, money, power, even exile from Salem, just to keep the secret buried? The most shocking image of all might be seeing Kristen Demera humbled. No longer scheming. No longer defiant. Just a mother, devastated and broken, willing to do anything to save her child. EJ's decision, justice or forgiveness? This is where everything changes. Because EJ holds the power. He could press charges, destroy the girl's life, and likely her parents' lives too. Or he could stay silent. He could walk away. He could take the pain, the betrayal, and the bullet and bury it in his soul forever. But would he? EJ is not known for mercy. He's a man driven by pride, vengeance, and control. To be shot by a child, no less, might humiliate him more than any adult ever could. He could feel compelled to make an example out of her. He might believe that letting Rachel go would send a message to his enemies that he's weak. On the other hand, family is family. Would he look into Rachel's tear-streaked face and still call the police? Would he really put his niece in prison? Or would he do what no one expects and take the fall himself? A family torn apart no matter what EJ chooses. The damage is already done. The bond between him and Brady will be shattered. Kristen may spiral deeper into her old ways, filled with guilt and rage. And Rachel? She'll grow up under a shadow that no therapy can erase. If EJ speaks up, she'll become a criminal. If he stays silent, he may become the one who suffers most of all, carrying the burden of protecting the girl who nearly killed him. And the question will always remain. Is she truly sorry? Did she understand what she was doing? Or was she acting out of confusion, fear, or manipulation by someone else? The tragedy Salem may never forget this is no longer just a whodunit. It's a moral war. Between justice and compassion. Between punishment and forgiveness. Between protecting a child and protecting everyone else from what that child might become. No matter what the outcome is, Salem will never be the same. And neither will we.